What is up, guys? Stark here. I am back for day 11 of the 25 Days of Fate, and as I said yesterday, today's video is going to be another character spotlight, and for this one, it is going to be the 4-star ruler Quetzalcoatl. So this is a character that has been long awaited for a lot of people, and honestly speaking, it's been questioned whether or not we would ever get her into the game, and that's primarily due to the fact that this event has only ever come out once on JP. And, you could say whatever you want about the reason for it, but that's irrelevant at this point because we are going to get her, and we are going to get her event in full, so it's really nothing to worry about at this point. However, I do need to stress the fact that since JP only got this event once, we can assume that we are only going to get this event once as well. So, don't waste your time with this one. Make sure you go ahead and get Quetzalcoatl and take care of her event. Do everything you need to do, because more than likely this event will never come back. There are a few other characters out there that have not made their returns yet, such as Fujino, but I do believe that eventually Fujino will come back. However, I do believe that this event will not ever come back. So make sure you go ahead and finish this event, get her. Regardless of whether or not you think this character is good or not, make sure you get her just so you have the character. And honestly speaking, there's really no reason why you shouldn't get her. But let's go ahead and talk about her in depth, and hopefully by the end of the video you guys have a pretty good understanding of the character, and if you were on the fence about it as far as using her, maybe this will help sway you one way or the other. So as far as stats go, she's going to have 11,603 HP and 9,687 attack. This will rank her 129th overall in HP and 98th overall in attack. Now, the one good thing about her is that she is a ruler class, which is going to be really cool. You're going to get a free-to-play ruler character just by completing the event. So a lot of people might not have a ruler in their box right now, so being able to get a free one like that is going to be pretty awesome and pretty helpful. And she is a very unique ruler as well, which we'll get to a little bit more as we go ahead and look at her skills. So speaking of her skills, her first one is going to increase the attack of all of your allies for 3 turns, as well as granting yourself critical stars every turn for 3 turns. So this will be a traditional attack boost at 20% for the 3-turn duration, and you will also get 10 stars every turn for 3 turns on a 5-turn charge time, which is really nice, being able to be a little bit more of an offensive-oriented servant. Most rulers are more of support or defensive-oriented servants, so it is really nice to be able to see an offensive one come to the table, and the fact that it's a free-to-play one as well makes her even better. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, she is the only ruler in the game that actually has a party-wide attack buff, so that's actually a really cool thing to be able to have for her. And her second skill is also going to be focusing more on damage than on support or defense, and this one is going to increase the critical star gather rate for one ally for 1 turn, as well as increasing that ally's critical star drop rate by 30% for 3 turns. So this is another offensive oriented skill, which you'll see a 600% increase to the gather rate for that one ally. Now, this does only last for 1 turn, however, you will be able to increase those stars, so even after that first turn, you will be able to keep generating those stars a little bit longer. And her third skill will increase her own Buster Card effectiveness for 3 turns, as well as increasing her own Buster Card critical star gather rate for 1 turn. So this is also on a 5-turn charge time, which is nice, but what I was saying previously is you could use her second skill on herself, and then you'll get to 1 turn of increased critical star gather rate, and then the next turn you'll be able to use her third skill to further get more star gather rate. Now this is only for her Buster Cards, but you're probably going to want to burst with her Buster Cards anyway, being able to get that 30% increase for your overall Buster Card effectiveness. So you'll be able to do a lot of damage with her overall. As for her passives, she does have 2. The first one is going to be the Magic Resistance A+, which will increase her debuff resistance by 21%, and the second one will be the Core of the Goddess A, which will apply damage plus 250, as well as increasing her debuff resistance by 25%. So all in all, Quetzalcoatl has a really good set of skills in my opinion, and it is definitely a odd thing for rulers to have offensive-oriented skills, but she does have it, and it is a good thing to see in my opinion. It definitely makes her viable into the game because she's a offensive ruler, which really there aren't any other offensive rulers, so it's really nice to get her there. Now, There are a few drawbacks. You know, some of the skills have a little bit of a higher cooldown in comparison to the length of the skills, so I am only going to give her 4 stars for the skills, but I do think overall she does have a pretty good set of skills. Looking at her command card and her Noble Phantasm, for her command card deck, she has 2 quick, 1 arts, 2 buster, and the hit counts on those are going to be 4 on the quick, 3 on the arts, 4 on the buster, and 5 on the extra attack. So she's got a pretty good balance of hit counts, and her command card deck is pretty balanced. Her Noble Phantasm is going to be a Buster Noble Phantasm, so you will be able to do Buster Brave Chains. And for the actual effect of the Noble Phantasm, it will increase the critical star drop rate by 100% for 1 turn for Quetzalcoatl. This will also deal damage to all enemies. And on the overcharge effect, this will increase the critical strength for all of your allies for 3 turns. So this has the potential to be a really powerful Noble Phantasm, but the best part about it is the fact that you'll be able to get a lot of critical ability outside of the Noble Phantasm once it's over. So any enemies that survive will probably get picked off pretty quickly with the amount of critical damage and just the amount of crits you're going to be hitting with the extra attacks on the following turn. So you should be doing pretty good there. So as for her command chains, the overall best command chain for damage will be Buster Arts, Buster Extra. Now the only drawback to this is that she's a ruler, so she will naturally just deal base damage against most classes. She's not really effective or strong against, you know, any other class really. Moon Cancers, obviously she's going to have the advantage over, but there really aren't that many Moon Cancers in the game. And yeah, Berserkers will also take damage as well. But outside of that, she's going to hit pretty neutral for the most part. However, she is still going to be able to do a lot of damage in her own right, just by her own kit and her Noble Phantasm when you pull that off. For Noble Phantasm generation, you're going to go with a couple extra arts cards from different servants, and then her own arts card for a 35% increase to your gauge. And then for critical stars, you're going to bring in a extra quick card from a different servant, and then her 2 quick cards for a potential of 37 total critical stars. So all in all, as far as damage goes, I am going to give her 4.5 stars. She could do a really good amount of damage. However, as I said, her being a ruler does drag down her potential for damage just a little bit, but it's not that much where I have to really drop the rating overall. Just a little bit of a half a point there just because of the ruler class ranking. And as for critical ability, I am going to give her 5 stars. She has covered the basis for all 3 of the different crit categories. She has multiple effects there for crits. And she has a really good way of getting like stars reliably. So, you know, all in all, I do think that she can be a pretty powerful crit ruler. Now, I've never personally used her myself in game, so it'll be interesting to see if it actually relates to the game the same way it looks like it's on paper. But, you know, you do have your first skill to generate stars every turn, and then you do have your second skill to increase the drop rate 4 stars, as well as increasing the gather rate. And then you also have your Noble Phantasm, which will increase your overall critical strength for all of your allies, including yourself, and then you'll also be able to further increase your star drop rate by 100% for yourself. So overall, I think she is definitely going to be able to do a lot of stuff for crits. She does also have 2 quick cards, so it won't be that difficult to pull off quick chains if need be to generate more stars. So yeah, I think 5 stars for her critical ability is pretty good there. For her Noble Phantasm, I am going to give her 4 stars. It is a very unique Noble Phantasm in the fact that it is an AoE damaging Noble Phantasm, and that's going to be very big. Being able to have an AoE ruler could be very helpful for you guys, but like I said, it's not going to be as effective as a lot of other Noble Phantasms just because you're not going to be going up against too many Moon Cancers. But all in all, it's not going to be that bad, and it does have some really good effects outside of that with the crit capacity that I was talking about previously. Her survivability is also going to get 4 stars. Being a ruler, she has natural built-in defense, but outside of that, she doesn't have any sort of defense whatsoever to her name. She focuses primarily on doing offense, which is totally fine. However, you're going to need to bring in some sort of defense for her. You know, even being a ruler, it's going to be very difficult for her to take Noble Phantasms. So you do want to bring in someone who could potentially do like a evasion or an invincibility for her so she doesn't die right away. And then for her support, I am going to give her 3.5 stars. As a ruler, she doesn't really function as a support character as most of them do, but she still does have a little bit in the way of support, especially in the form of crit ability. She does have her second skill, which will be able to increase the gather rate and the drop rate for critical stars, and her noble Phantasm is also going to be very helpful in increasing overall crit damage with the buff to the critical strength. So I did bump her up a little bit there, but outside of that, she doesn't really have too much in support. You know, you're definitely going to have to bring someone else in to help support your team. But as far as offensive buff goes, she does have that taken care of pretty well, so you should be all right there. And that will give her overall ranking a 4.2 out of 5. I think she is a very good character in my opinion, and she's definitely a must-have just because of the fact that she doesn't come back. But either way, she does fill the void of a ruler and an AoE ruler should that need ever arise. And honestly speaking, she just looks like a really fun character to use on paper. So I definitely can't wait to get my hands on her and to, you know, finally after all these years use her. Like I played Japan after she went away, so I was never able to get her, and you know, now we just on Global or NA, we were just sitting here waiting to see if we would ever actually get her, and now the time has come, so I'm definitely excited to, you know, finally pick her up and use her. But for now, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord, so feel free to check those out, as well as the video for the 25 Days of Fate Christmas giveaway. Definitely make sure you check that out and look at all the rules for the Christmas giveaway for your chance to win a $100 gift card to either iTunes or Google Play. And you know, make sure you check out all the other 25 Days of Fate videos as well. We're going strong here. We're approaching the halfway point, honestly, throughout the month, and it's kind of going really fast. As for tomorrow's video, I am going to be doing a first look for the new 5-star saber on Japan, so make sure you stay tuned for that, giving you my first impressions. I haven't actually done the video yet, so I really don't know anything about them, but that will be tomorrow's video, and then, you know, we'll go from there. But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.
Samba のステップで仕掛けます。トップロープからのプレゼントスラムでフィニッシュね。ユカタンレガー